Hey everyone out there, welcome back to the channel here. Today I just want to talk a little bit. I know you guys are probably overwhelmed and maybe even a little sick and tired of hearing about the whole coronavirus thing. So, but I just have to mention a few things based on our own personal experience with this. We have been trying to stay mostly out and about, at camp. And we're doing this for long periods of time, so we'll be gone for a while and back. So it's sort of interesting to see progression of this whole thing when we go off grid for, whatever, a week or so, and then we come back in and we kind of catch up on what's been going on. We all have our different views, but it's wild and crazy out there right now over this, and so I can't imagine what the future holds for all the other things that we face in the near future with, the environmental degradation and all the stuff we have going on that is inevitably going to affect us all. We talk about it a lot here on the channel, about, part of the reason why we live the way we do, both in living to the fullest now in anticipation that the future is very uncertain more than ever, and also part in our values and our belief system in not making our focus in life so much on stuff and making it more on just experiencing life. And that by living with less, we contribute less to the problem. So yeah, that's kind of what we're about here. But just kind of a personal story of what's going on with us. We came into town just like yesterday, and we got caught up, but we also needed to get a few things. We need some food, and we do keep some dried stuff. We've talked about that before, so we're not too panicked, but at the same time, there's certain stuff that we like to get fresh. So we go to the store, and with this panic and hysteria, which, whatever, if you want to panic about it, that's one thing, but there's plenty of other things to panic about that we could take action on that I don't see the masses taking action on. My understanding is that so many people are scared, but they're scared because they don't fully really understand the issue or how to respond to it. The whole buying up toilet paper thing does not seem like a proper response for someone that really grasps an issue. Even if it was a pandemic situation, toilet paper would be probably the last of my concerns. Toilet paper is kind of easy. I could probably list 101 alternatives to toilet paper, and there's probably going to be someone out there that does that makes a video on that. Yeah, pretty easy. But food is precious. And the fact that people are hoarding food is interesting. Fine if you want to stock up on stuff. I don't. In terms of the dry stuff, we probably aren't going to have a real run out in it anyway. The stores have responded and they're restocking shelves, and there's lots of stuff. They're just going to make bank on this, to be honest. We have the materials and food and stuff is out there. So the actual, it's not just the non-perishables at this point. People are now buying up perishables, is my understanding. Which is kind of weird, right? Because that stuff would go bad. Although, why would not buy the vegetables that make you healthier? And people have homes. We don't. We don't have the ability to freeze stuff and preserve it as best as they can. So, if you were at a house and you were worried and you wanted your health to be good, wouldn't you buy more vegetables and freeze them or process them somehow? But whatever. That's a whole nother topic. Point is we go to the grocery store because we wanted to get some eggs. Now, we don't eat a very heavy meat-based diet. Our diet might fall in the area of the lacto-ovo vegetarian area, but it really isn't that. It doesn't fit anything. But it still goes in accordance with our beliefs and our we want to be healthy, but then we also have dogs, right? So we have this balance in our diet. But eggs do represent a big portion of protein and nutrition for us. And the dogs. We go in to get eggs, and we get 2 dozen eggs. And upon trying to check out, we're told, no, the limit is 1. The limit is 1 on eggs? It's a little over the top and absurd. So we're limiting people like us who can't keep it for a long time and just need to get eggs. I mean, we're not overbuying. Buying 2 dozen eggs is not overbuying. It's not hoarding. It's not mass consumption. It's 2 dozen eggs. And between, I mean, kind of a family of 5 here, right? Like 2 adults and 3 children. They're furry children, but they still eat like children. So, in fact, Kwani eats like a really big kid. He almost weighs as much as me. So, yeah, I mean, that's not overbuying, and it's just weird for us to be restricted on that. Now, it's kind of silly anyway, because honestly, we'll probably go back in and just buy it again, so it's actually more of an inconvenience than anything. I don't see how that does anything. But, yeah, that's our experience with some of this. It's kind of crazy, and I mean, like, being restricted on buying 2 dozen eggs, and then the store sells packages of the 5 dozen eggs. So you can buy that much anyway. It's just so silly. So I don't really know what the reasoning. I don't know if they're just trying to look like they're doing good, but I don't see how that translates into helping at all, especially since then you're inviting people to come back into the store multiple times to get the same amount anyway, if they really want it. When we should be kind of trying to avoid stores as much as possible if we really want to, avoid masses. So whatever. So I don't know. That's what's going on. I like having a conversation about this because I gotta tell you, I'm most curious about human behavior more than anything, more than ever, because I've read extensively and studied lots of stuff, and I can wrap my head around lots of it. But when it comes to human behavior and human response, gosh, it's tough. And I find, if you listen to a lot of other people, that's our biggest challenge, is really understanding ourselves. And how interesting is that, right? We know so much. We built, all these things, and we've mastered the technology, and we know some crazy chemistry, and we can observe invisible things, but understanding ourselves is still a big challenge. And I think that's a lesson in humbleness. You can learn a lot from being humble. But those are my thoughts today on this whole thing. I have to comment on it. This is so big, so I'm sorry to give you guys more on this, but this is a different take, and it actually applies to a lot of things too, and I think it's going to be more and more something that we're going to have to consider in the future, is this whole human behavior and human response. If we respond like this now, what is the response going to be in the future when we have bigger crises? Which we kind of do have bigger crises right now, we're just not addressing them to this level, which we could use a little more panic and other things that are worse. But whatever, not the point. The point is, it's kind of scary, and our response is scary, and this whole individualistic character of ourselves, and this lack of humbleness, and thinking humans are so amazing and the best species that to ever bless the universe, is overridden by this example of our own lacking. But that lacking doesn't mean a bad thing. It's just, if we would admit that humans, we're not perfect, and our brains aren't always logical. Our responses aren't always logical. We could use a little bit of that. But anyway, I'm checking out now. We are going back to the wilderness. Like I said, we're in the city today. We had a lot of rain. You don't really want to be in the washes and out in the middle of nowhere when there's mass rain in the desert environment. So we needed to restock. We needed to get out of the rain. We came back to the city, but we are going back to the wilderness, where we can be away from the crowds, away from the chaos, in the quietness, under the stars, and we're going to check out for just a little bit, but we will be bringing you a lot more, because there's lots to talk about. So stay tuned for that, and enjoy your eggs if you can get them. Bye, guys.